You don't start with a dream, not the kind that ends in a trophy or a draft call. You start with a plastic football in the backyard, 2 trash cans set 12 feet apart, and a restless summer afternoon. You're barefoot, the grass is prickly, and there's nothing else to do. You line up, take a breath, and swing. The sound it makes, sharp, hollow, but clean, plants something in your chest that doesn't leave. You don't yet know why it feels so good, only that it does. Everyone else is pretending to be quarterbacks, wide receivers, cornerbacks. They want touchdowns, glory, cheers. You're the strange kid aiming for uprights made out of garbage bins. But when the ball sails between them, landing softly in the grass, it feels as though you've uncovered a private secret. The satisfaction is yours alone. At recess, you start volunteering to kick in pickup games, not because anyone asks, but because no one else wants to. They chase the rush of the end zone. You chase that sound, that fleeting heartbeat, when the ball leaves your foot and time slows. The more you kick, the more sense it makes. You're not the fastest, not the strongest, not the loudest, but give you a ball and 10 yards of space and you'll return 3 points. Your classmates start calling you the leg. It's a joke, not a title. You don't care. You keep lining up. By middle school, you're hitting 40-yarders in scuffed cleats with laces that never stay tied. One summer, your dad builds uprights out of PVC pipe, duct taped together and anchored in buckets of concrete. They look flimsy, absurd even, but to you, they're monuments. You kick until your toes go numb. Neighbors complain about the thud of ball against plastic, but you keep going. There's honesty in this ritual. You don't need teammates, or a playbook, or stadium lights. Just a ball, a target, and your own head telling you to do better. You start filming yourself, breaking down the swing in slow motion. Every step becomes liturgy. 3 back, 2 over, 1 breath, then fire. And though you never say it aloud when it's perfect, when the ball lifts in a spiral and paints its arc across the sky, it feels like flight. A proof of existence, a whisper that you matter. Freshman tryouts arrive. No one expects anything. You don't look like a receiver, nor hit like a safety. But then you hit a 48-yarder in practice and the coach drops his clipboard. Suddenly, you're on varsity. You don't know the playbook, and it doesn't matter. Your job is brutally simple. Go in cold, hit the mark, walk off. Your first game ends with the clock bleeding down, a 42-yard kick spinning through the uprights. Victory. The local paper prints your name, misspelled, buried in the 4th paragraph. No interviews, no fanfare. At home, your father cuts it out and tapes it to the fridge. You read that line every morning, quietly, like scripture. The work doesn't stop. While others bulk up in the weight room, you're outside with a tee and a bag of worn-out footballs. Rain, snow, heat, it doesn't matter. You chart your misses, adjust foot angle, measure steps. A surgeon of fractions, a single inch off the plant foot, and the kick is ruined. So you fix it over and over. Other kids chase highlight reels. You chase repetition, precision, the invisible art of being consistent. Nobody really notices, but you do. You feel your range creeping farther, accuracy growing sharper. Coaches begin whispering you might have a shot, maybe college, maybe more, but doubt rises with every kick. Not from you, from them. Coaches call you a luxury. Teammates mutter, you're not a real athlete. You're not in the trenches, not scoring touchdowns. You're just the kicker. And yet that's the paradox. You exist in the margins, necessary but unwanted. You train alone, but when the game hangs in balance, all eyes turn to you. You sense it already, even as a teenager. The strange, invisible burden of a craft where perfection is the minimum requirement and recognition never guaranteed. History has always reserved a place for such figures, the ones whose roles are silent but decisive. Like a medieval executioner whose single stroke had to be flawless, or a samurai archer who trained years for one arrow in one battle. Their glory was invisible, their failures unforgettable. In your small backyard, with PVC uprights wobbling in the wind, you are unconsciously stepping into that same lineage. You don't yet know the cost, you only know the sound. That clean thump of ball-meeting foot, echoing in your chest like a promise that someday someone will notice. College changes everything. The field is bigger, the lights harsher, and the noise louder. You arrive on scholarship, a roster spot, and a target on your back. The crowd doesn't welcome you. They tolerate you until they need you. To them, you're a luxury, not a necessity. A specialist. A name they'll remember only if it's attached to a miss. The job itself is brutal in its simplicity. While linemen hit each other like trucks and receivers sprint routes 100 times a game, you wait. You stretch on the sideline, you jog a few steps, you rehearse a swing in the shadows. You may get one chance, maybe two. That's your rhythm. Fragments, interruptions, silence. And when your window comes, you must be flawless. There is no build-up, no forgiveness, no margin. You live in half-second increments. Plant, swing, strike. One fraction wrong, and the entire stadium will know. Training feels like exile. While the rest of the team collides under the floodlights, you're on the side field, alone, drilling mechanics in the wind. Your craft looks laughable to outsiders. No tackling, no scrimmage, just steps and swings and the endless thud of ball against net. Teammates joke that you're doing Pilates, not football. The punter doesn't speak much. It's lonely. But there's something surgical in your pursuit. Others bleed for yards. You bleed for precision, and yet nobody sees it. They only see the result. Success earns silence. A 49-yard kick in practice, 49 perfect strikes out of 50, and all anyone asks is why you missed the one. That's the weight of perfection. Nobody applauds consistency, but everybody condemns failure. Trust is your currency, and it is fragile. One botched game winner and years of work evaporate. You tell yourself you love pressure, but that's a lie. Nobody loves it. You survive it. Before every kick, you build a cocoon of ritual. 3 back, 2 over, a deep breath. You tune out the noise, but the noise claws back in. A stadium of 40,000 screams, some cheering, many jeering, their words boiling into a single sentence. Don't miss. Even when you make it, the cameras cut away. The quarterback who threw 3 interceptions still gets the interview. You, who nailed the 54-yarder at the buzzer, disappear behind commercial breaks. You don't exist unless you fail. And when you do, when the ball hooks wide or the snap wobbles, the context dies instantly. No one remembers the bad hold, the slippery turf, the swirling wind. They only remember your miss. Social media makes it worse. After games, you log off because even 3 for 3 isn't enough. They'll still call you lucky, slow, overrated. Miss once, and your inbox becomes a war zone. Strangers tell you to quit, to vanish, to die. Even teammates won't meet your eyes in the locker room. Coaches summon you to meetings that feel more like interrogations. All over 1 inch, 1 swing, 1 moment. You start craving silence. Not the silence of a crowd holding its breath, but the deeper silence, the one where everything disappears. Just you, the ball, the moment. That's where you feel alive, even as the margin shrinks. The silence, though, becomes harder to find. Doubt creeps in, not your own, but theirs. Coaches whisper, fans speculate. Is he still the guy? It's a strange existence. To live every week balancing on a knife's edge, knowing that success keeps you invisible while failure brands you forever. You are not a star, not a hero. You are the shadow in the background, the ghost summoned only at the end, carrying the weight of the game in a swing that lasts less than 2 seconds. And yet, history has always made space for people like you, the ones called only in crisis. Think of the lone archer in a medieval siege, standing apart, waiting for the one shot that might pierce the enemy commander. Or the executioner sharpening his blade, where the difference between a clean cut and a messy swing meant not only disgrace, but curses whispered by a crowd. These were not heroes, not celebrated figures, but necessary instruments. That is the lineage you stand in. So you keep working. You study tape, break down angles, rehearse until your legs are heavy with repetition. They call you ice cold, but inside you burn with fear, anger, hunger, the hunger to matter. And yet you know the unspoken truth. In this job, you're not remembered for how many you make, but for the one you miss. The burden isn't just perfection. It's invisibility, and it's already starting to haunt you. It doesn't start with a miss. It starts with a whisper. Quiet at first, a coach's doubt, a reporter's question, a teammate who won't meet your eyes. Is he still the guy? You've hit 89% for 3 straight seasons. You've saved games they should have lost, kicked through injuries you never reported. But none of that matters now, because on Sunday you went 1 for 3. One kick was blocked, another drifted left in a wind, even the punter misread. The spreadsheet doesn't care. The highlight reel doesn't either. The tape shows misses. That's enough. You feel it shifting around you. A tryout for a free agent. A rookie brought in just to look. But you know what it means. You're no longer secure. You're replaceable. One bad week and you've gone from trusted to questioned. You show up early, you grind harder, but the silence grows. Calls from your agent stop. Free gear packages vanish. Teammates glance away when accountability is mentioned. The locker room is cold like that. You were invisible before. Now you're radioactive. And then it happens. A Tuesday call, short, efficient, almost casual. We're moving on. No press conference, no thank you, no montage. Just clean out your locker. The rookie doesn't have your accuracy or experience, but he's cheaper, younger. Cheaper matters more than dependable. That's how the league works. Value is a formula. Leg strength, salary cap, pressure tolerance, age. If you're not trending upward, you're trending out. The next weekend you sit at home. The rookie hits a short one, misses a long one. The broadcast barely mentions your name. You're already being erased. You upload workout clips, crisp mechanics, slow-motion spirals. A few teams say they'll keep you in mind. Vague promises, smoke without fire. So you keep training, because what else is there? You kick on empty high school fields, a tripod your only witness. You ice your hip alone in the quiet. But silence is louder than noise. Fans forget you overnight. Coaches stop saying your name. Even the waiver wire feels haunted by men like you, waiting for a call that never comes. You start to wonder why it isn't you. You did everything right. Head down, work done, clutch moments delivered. But one miss was enough, one crack in perfection, and the entire narrative collapses. That's the cruelty of it. You don't get a farewell tour. No jersey swaps, no curtain call. When you leave, you vanish. Your name misprinted in some transaction log. The league moves on as though you never existed. At night, the dreams come back. Stadium lights, the crowd on its feet. The ball rising in that perfect, impossible arc, hanging for one breathless second between glory and shame. You wake sweating, heart pounding. Your body convinced it's still on the field. Some mornings, your leg still twitches as though finishing a kick you'll never take again. You train kids now. Fix their steps, guide their heads, talk them through the mental war. You tell them it's about consistency, discipline, trust in the process. What you don't tell them is the loneliness. The truth that one mistake can cost you everything. that the pressure never leaves. It only grows quieter until it becomes your own voice whispering doubts. Your body still leans left after every swing, as if bracing to see the ball hook wide. You still flinch when someone jokes, "wide left." You still hear the silence of a stadium after a miss, that deafening nothing that drowns out a lifetime of makes. And what do you have for it? A few bonuses. A few. A couple of highlights buried deep in an ESPN reel. A career where you trained in the shadows, lived under a gun, and were only seen when you failed. You weren't a hero, you were insurance. A fire extinguisher behind glass. Break in case of emergency, then put away. But here's the paradox. You loved it. Every second, every snap, every chance to step into chaos and change a game with nothing but your leg and your nerve. You lived for it. Even when no one else understood, even when no one else remembered. You gave everything for a job designed to make you invisible. And when it broke you, when it cast you aside, you still missed it the next morning. Still checked your phone, hoping someone needed you again. That's why it sucks to be a kicker. Not because of the misses, not even because of the pressure, but because of how little the world remembers the ones you made. In the end, your legacy isn't written in highlight reels or interviews. It's written in silence, the same silence that always followed your kicks, the silence that defined you, the silence that will outlast you.